Good morning. Hand today is going to be pocket sixes. This hand, early position player, open raises to 3, folds around to me. This player's playing 21-12. I've got 2,000 hands on him. His early stats are 22-18 with a raise first in of 18%. Mid position is a little bit higher at 25% for raise first in. He's probably raising about 20%, maybe a little less. From this spot, he does limp, so we do have to consider, what he could be limping with. So this is 20%. If we take out like King 9, King 8, Jack 9 gets us down to 19%. That's probably okay. If we drop off Jack 10 off, we're at 18%. This seems like a reasonable raise for sin stat for a player like this. He's got his Broadway, he's got a couple suited connectors, pocket pair, suited aces. So we're going to go with this. For me, versus an early position player, we have a 3-bet range that looks something like this, and then a 3-better call range that looks something like this. This player folds 3-bet 46% of the time. I think we can make an argument of raising. He'll probably fold a lot of his hands here. So I think that would be an argument. Basically, turn sixes into a bluff and hope to take it down. The argument against it is that we do have some value. If we get a favorable flop, let's say a king 8-6, we're going to probably get paid for our trip sixes. So I think here we're both big stacks. Probably prefer just calling here and seeing if I could flop trips. So I called. Flop comes down 9-8-5, so I flopped the gut shot. No flush draw on board. I think I am checking here 100% to the villain and villain check. So, I think if it's a thinking villain, he's probably going to recognize that this board hits me more harder than it hits him. So I think he probably is betting a straight and sets 2-pair to overpair. I think we're looking at something like this. I'd like to imagine that he is also betting his open ender. Maybe not the gut shots. But I think he's looking something like this that's somewhat weak at this point. Again, I imagine he's going to be c-betting a lot of these hands, and I even say top pair, middle pair too, that he would be c-betting. So it turns the ace, and that's kind of poses a major problem because I think villain has ace-x in his hand. We could bet. Once he showed weakness, we could bet here, but I think ace is a bad card to bet just because of all of the aces that villain has in his hands. Now he bets about half. I think he's betting. He could be betting 2-pair. He could be betting top pair. He could be betting all of these now, just as a bluff since we went check check, and he knows that ace really hits his range. So when it gets back to us, what do we call with? I think we call with pairs. I don't think we call with a bluff. I think the only time with our bluff, we're probably better at raising at this point instead of just calling. And that means we're going to be calling with flush draw, open ender, and probably gut shot as well. Not sure if we're going to do a 1-card gut shot. I think 1-card gut shot means we have some other pair in our hand. So I think that's going to be our calling range here. 2 of diamonds connect, and I think our option here is just to check. I don't think we can lead. I think if we lead and he raises, we're just going to have to get rid of it. We're just going to hope that for a check down. And I think villain's going to probably check down all of these hands. So top pair is 30, so 40%, 60% of the time he doesn't have a top pair hand. He's got a weak pair or lower. So 60% of the time when we look at it, we're only, of those 60, we're only behind sevens. So I think if it goes check, check, we figure to win most of the time. So we did go check, check. And villain shows king, queen. He shows nothing, which is I have in his range. So let's talk about how this hand played out, because it was actually a pretty short hand. But I think overall this hand was played out pretty well. I think our pre-flop call is okay. I think our flop was pretty straightforward. I mean, we're checking to the razor. I think if he bets, we're probably at least calling. If we were in position, I think we're going to be in a spot to raise at that point. I think our gut shot's a little too weak of a draw just to call and see the turn. But out of position, I think if he bets, we call, and then the ace is just not a super good card for us. I think we could make the argument that if he c-bets, we could raise out of position. I think we're raising just to try to end the hand there. I think we could rep 9, 8. I think we could rep any of the trips. Yeah, I think we could rep any of the trips. Obviously, we have to be concerned that if we check raise and he calls, that he has some sort of overpair, and we might not be able to get him off the hand. I doubt he would call with, let's say, backdoor flush draw, not against a check raise. And we are kind of deep. And let's go back here. So, pot 6.5. If he bets 3.2, we could raise it up to 10 big blinds. 10s, 3x his bet, or about 3x his bet. We could probably go up maybe to 14, make it a pot size raise. That would be a little bit stronger. I actually like that play better than raising on the turn. I think once the ace comes, I think all we can do is just check call. With how we played it with the check check, I think that is inducing a bet here. And you can see his c-bet stats are 50%, 60%. He's in position, so it's 52%. Why he didn't c-bet might be a little bit cautious. It probably needs to hit something. So I think this call is fine given how the hand was played out. And then the river, we could obviously bet to try to get some value. But if we look at the ranges, if we bet what hands call, I think only top pair plus, in which case we're not getting any value because we're beat by whenever he calls us. So I think our only shot here is to check and kind of evaluate if he bets. If he bets again, we're probably going to have to fold. I think that would have been a strong play by him, and I think it's something that he missed. Was that the ace was good for his range. I think there are a lot of hands that he would have checked, or missed the c-bet. He bets when that ace comes, and he really, I think, needs to fire again. To get the folds, to get folds like sixes, like sevens. I think 10-9 could probably even fold. 10-8 can fold. I think there's a lot of one pair hands that would fold, and that's why I think he kind of missed out on that. I think with ace, if he had an ace himself, I think that's consistent with how he would play. Like if he had ace queen, ace jack, maybe even ace king, check behind. It's not really a favorable board for those hands. Then you hit top pair, you bet the turn, you get called, you bet river. So I think he messed that up. All right, I think we're going to end here. Fairly straightforward hand, but I like how I played, and I think the hand made sense. Hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, look tomorrow for another hand.